Hi everybody, it's Thelma. Today is Wednesday, so it is a video called hashtag What's Up Wednesday. And it is hosted by Tijo Creates. Go to her channel, I'll link it below, and subscribe to her channel and just talk. All she wants is do an update. It doesn't matter whether if it's craft related or not. Just talk about what you're doing today. So I thought I would talk about journals since I just love making journals. There are many different ways to make a journal cover. And I have a pile here of just some of the things that I've tried. There are many other ways, okay? There is a special machine that you can do with coils. You can use an old book like this. If you do, you can recover them, the front, the back, whatever. The only thing to remember is to take about half of the pages out. Okay. You can use an old book like this. You can rip out the pages, or you can make your own. I took them out and I used them for something else, and it was falling apart. You'll know one by the thing in the side here, how big it gets. The bigger the gap, the better. And then you just take a knife and you run it down very carefully on this side, right here, along this line. You don't want to touch this because you'll cut it apart. That I haven't put together yet. That's only one. You can use these prime paper plastic bags. My girlfriend, Tina App, made this cover out of this. Out of one of these. She just sewed squares of material together and then, or just sewed them on. It's real easy to sew on here. And she just sewed them with contrasting thread. And then, or in some cases, she just took material and just did it, made pieces, and then sewed it on. And yeah, I got that in 2021. I haven't done anything to this other than to make two sections, but one I gave away already. So to Bobby Joe made this by hand, and that was my last video. So this one is made out of a placemat. This is the one where I'm stamping flowers in it. That's Stamping Sundays video. I haven't done too much lately in that one because I've been working on Christmas and Halloween. This one I used this again and sewed material onto it. And then paper on the inside I glued. And I sewed it around on the edge so it would stay better. But I just glued the paper in. This one I use a piece of vellum and cardstock, a 6x12 cardstock, and I glued ribbon onto it. You could sew on there. I didn't know I could do that. I didn't know vellum would hold. But now I do. Thank you very much for telling me. So, I've seen people use envelopes they've made by joining two together, one for the front page, one for the back page. You could do that. You could use an old weekly planner. You can, what I did was this one, I glued another piece of cardstock in there to give it more support. I love the cover. The color of the cover. See, I accidentally cut it. So you can always fix. Always. You can use the folder. Just double it. Or use two. Glue two together. Another bag. This one came from the person, from, Happy Meal, so you can use that. I've made one out of a paper bag. I've made a couple journals out of a paper bag, especially around Christmas time. They're so pretty. Cut down one side, and this, cut both sides. Take this side and glue it to the inside here, and use cardstock to make it thicker. That's it. You can take the ribbon off, glue it on the inside, right in the middle, and one on the front, one on the back, and you have this. I added ribbon. I added another thickness. I added some more cardstock, make it a little bit thicker. The whole thing, I just added cardstock. Unless you want it thin. You don't need it thick, but because it's so big, I thought it should be a little bigger. I'm working on this one. I've got 2 sections ready. This one, see, there's another one I've started. I added ribbon on the inside already. And I used that really thick journal tape to keep it supported. So, someone suggested using a box. Can't quite figure this one out. If you've got any ideas, hints on ideas on how to do that, let me know. Same thing with this composition notebook. If you're going to use one like this and cover it, just remember, take out lots of pages. This one is the card. Now this one, of course, you can see cereal, right? It's frosted cornflakes. Can't read French. What I did was I kept the flaps. I folded them down. I took that edge piece and I folded it over. And I glued it down really good. Now, I don't know necessarily where I'm going to keep this size. I can cut it because it is pretty big. I mean, it's 11 inches high by 8 and almost a half inches, with the back being almost 3 3/4 inches. This was just an example, but this is how you start out. Now, we use for a journal cover. Add another piece here of cardstock before you do. Now you can take material or paper to cover it. Doesn't really matter. But you glue it. Use really good glue. There's fabric glue or good paper glue. Don't use the real cheap stuff because it'll lift. Then you glue it on the front cover first. Fold over the extra. You want always extra to fold over. Then what you do, once you've got that, you take it, the material or whatever you're going to use, and glue it down. And then you glue in the middle here. Or you do like I did in that one journal, where you glue the extra, you have lots, and you fold it over and make pockets. Your choice. But always you have to add something in the middle too, to cover this up, and in here, to cover all of this, because you don't want it to be seen. And you can use a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. You can do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch on and glue each section to the card. Say that's this. You glue, you sew them on here, onto that. Make sure that's cardstock, not paper. Then you glue this on here. And you can't see that. That way, that's hidden. And otherwise, you can see the holes. Unless you do that first, then cover it. That's really hard to do. It's very complicated because you're trying to get it up and in, and it's not very, doesn't work very good. Unless you've got very nimble fingers. And you've done it quite a bit. But yes. So it's really easy to take each section and you figure out where the middle is, and then you figure out how many things you are, how many sections you've got, and then you figure out and you can sew it. And you get like 1/4 of an inch in between each one, because by the time you add paper, that's why when you're working with something else, like a book already, you know, like if you worked with one already, you have to rip out so many sheets, because when you add pockets and everything, you get it so thick that you can't use your book anymore. It's too wide. as it is. There's a lot of us journal keepers that like it thick. But anyway, if you find, or if you've used any other way, why don't you give me different suggestions on what you've used? I'd like that. I think I've covered quite a bit of ways to make a journal cover. If you've done something different, would you put a comment? If you would like one of my journals, leave a comment. If you've tried and don't know how to go about doing something and you want a better explanation, just leave a comment. I love comments. So, thanks. Take care. We'll see you around in another video. I've got Happy Mail. So, thanks. Bye.